I'm Christy Schroeder, IBM Z Skills Offering Manager. Today I'm here with Mark Wilson from RSM. To kick it off, Mark, you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself and your company?
Yep, Mark Wilson, Technical Director at RSM Partners, based in the UK. We're a mainframe infrastructure consultancy business, team of around about 65, 70 mainframe technicians that we deploy around the globe, doing mainframe stuff and a lot of mainframe security stuff. Also have a young and growing team, so we've been recruiting some youngsters for the last sort of 5 or 6 years.
And that's exactly why I wanted to talk to you today, because I work with clients trying to help them find, attract, train, and retain new folks, and you're doing such a great job with it. So what are some of the secrets to your success? How are you finding that new talent?
I think one of the things to think about when you're trying to recruit that talent is not to worry too much about the academic qualifications. Yes. I look for a spark in people, more attitude than aptitude. You've got to have aptitude. You've got to be able to work with the technology, right. but it's the attitude and the want and that a little bit of a effervescent personality. Yeah.
It's so important, because that's exactly what, when I talk to clients, I say don't worry about the acronyms. That if they don't have JCL, they don't have COBOL, they don't have DB2, XIMS, pick your favorite one. They're still going to make fabulous mainframers. So you've seen that?
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen that. We see them come in, and within 6 months they're starting to contribute. Within 12 months they're out with us on client sites, and we have a 2-year training program, and we intersperse that with doing the formal classroom work and going out and doing client work and doing what we call managed services work, so working on our client systems from the office, so they've got the senior guys, the mentors around them working, and it's that mix of training, doing the work, training, working on different projects. We see it's a steep learning curve, but they accelerate really quickly through it.
Right, and they're able to pick it up.
Oh, I mean, phenomenally quick. We quite sometimes I'll be there late in the day in the office, and you'll get ready, think about going out, and you'll walk over, and they're all clustered. They're working. What are you doing, guys? Girls as well. I've got it's a good mix. Yeah, good gender mix. What are you doing? Oh, we've just written a bit of software. What do you mean you've just written a bit of software?
Right.
Well, we've moved office, but we've left our mainframe in the old office, and they were worried about how they would monitor it. So they took a Raspberry Pi, put a thermostat on it and a humidity thing on it, wired it together, put it in the machine room, hooked it up to something running on the mainframe they've written, and now display that on a web server running on the mainframe that shows you the temperature and the humidity of the mainframe remotely. They call it the Z Garage. The Z Garage. And that's, I think, if you give them opportunity to just express themselves, they will.
And that's one of the other values and benefits when you bring that new talent in, because they do know the new tools and they're able to bring that. So maybe sometimes in the mainframe environment, they've been doing the same thing and aren't always looking at the new tools and technology. When you bring that new blood in there, it does get that spark.
It does shake up some of the more senior members of the team from the we've always done it that way type of things. But one of the most fascinating things I've seen over the last 5 or 6 years with the program that we've done is how the seniors in the team have taken to being mentors, because we've probably got 10 of what we call mainframer in trainers, MITs, and each one of them has got a mentor. So there are 10 mentors. They're all very good at it, but there are 1 or 2 out of the mentors who kind of just stand out a little bit. And we've got one guy who's an IMS and DB2 specialist, and he's probably, he's up in the top 5 on the planet for what he does. He went to his mentee, plus the rest of them, and says, I will come in of a weekend and run a course for you and teach you IMS and DB2 over a number of weekends. So the MITs came to me and said, look, are we okay doing this? I said, yeah, of course.
Right.
I went to the senior, I said, look, Joe, I've got some funding, I can pay you to do this. No, not interested. He gave up his time 5 weekends in a row teaching. because it's as almost they're taking a pride in passing on the knowledge to them, and the MITs are just
Eating it up.
eating it up and absolutely loving it. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And that's the other piece. You were talking about mentoring. When I talk to clients, that becomes such an important piece of the training program, but they also have to be positive mentors, making sure that you have the right people in there to instruct those new people coming in.
I mean, when the keynote at TechU on Monday were the two guys from the Walmart,
Yeah.
and they put that one slide up there that says no, and that was the one thing I say in our office, yeah, that the first response is yes, and how can we help? And that's what the seniors are like. No, yeah, of course, yeah. Not everybody has that personality trait,
Right.
so you've got to pick and choose who are going to be your mentors, but they are, on the whole, just fabulous, and seeing them all together in a group, working, chattering, you can see things flying up on screens, and you say, well, what are you doing there? So I've written a bit of Rex to do this, to drive a bit of Z Secure, because I needed the Z Secure command to look like this. I'll just walk away and say, my job's done. You give them the tools, and now they're using them, and it's just fabulous to see.
And one of the other things that you're just talking about here is having multiples. Because again, when I talk to clients, one of the things I recommend, if you can, bring in multiples instead of just one. Why they don't mind working with those more seasoned C professionals.
Yeah.
It is certainly nice if they have a peer that they can go to when they don't always want to go to that specialist and ask them the questions, but somebody else that they feel maybe even a little less intimidated, more comfortable asking questions to.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And what we've done each year that we've done it, we've always brought in a minimum of 2.
Perfect.
Bring them in as a pair.
Yes.
And and they go to the training courses together. So they have an opportunity to sit after the class and talk about, if they go out for dinner, they can sit and talk about the day. And you see them grow together, but you see them grow quicker together, rather than just doing it by yourself.
It really does help almost every client that I talk to when they're bringing in the multiples. I think it also helps for the retention, because they do have that other person that they have that they're going through the same experience. They can ask those questions too. So that's such a valuable piece of advice to other employers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also, using the ecosystem. So things like Share, things like GSE for us, obviously,
Yes.
in the UK, the IBM Master the Mainframe Academic Initiative, using all of those things to sort of bring them together as a collective. I mean,
Exactly.
I think the university term is a cohort. It's, I mean, I never went to university. I started at 16, straight out of school. So we've given some, in the UK, 16 is the end of what we call senior school.
Mm-hmm.
Then you do 2 years of college, then you go to university. So we've taken them in at 16, we've taken them in at 18, we've taken them in at 21, 22. And they're all very quickly at a level. And we had one client, we'd done a project for them, and we'd had a couple of the junior members of the team, and the IT director said, we want to redo the project at our other data centre in South Africa. Fine, we'll put the team together. We put this. He says, no, I don't want that team. He said, I want the team that did it here, and I want the 2 juniors that you had to actually take more of a role and lead. He says, because their attitude to doing the work and energy was fabulous. And he said it dragged the whole team across the line, not just your team, Mark. He said, but you dragged my team with you as well, and that's what they gave them.
And you also mentioned the sense of community. I think that's one of the things, especially coming to a TechU and all the other conferences, where they see there are other young professionals who are coming into the mainframe industry and creating that sense of community. When you go to these conferences, it really does in some instances feel like you're coming home, because you've built up that community. And we want to do the same for the other young ones that are coming in, new hires.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And sort of in the UK we have, well, in Europe we have GuideShare Europe, but we have a UK national conference, and we get about 450 people there. So I've been sort of part of the organising team now for the last 15 years, and when I first started doing it, we might have 1 youngster or 2 youngster.
Mm-hmm.
This year, 75 students, trainees, college grads, and the support we've had from IBM and all the other vendors has meant we've been able to go to them with an offer that's very, very compelling. attend the conference. We'll provide you a hotel room for you. Yeah. If you're old enough, you can participate in the social events. You can have a beer or a glass of wine, and we'll help get you there from a transport perspective. So we're trying to encourage more and more of them to come. They want to come because they see a career in mainframes as something that would stand them out from the rest of the IT world, and that's very compelling for them. Yeah.
And it's great to see too, because it also brings up that energy at the conferences and to start seeing the new generation that's coming in, that the mainframe's going to be in safe hands because we have this great set of talent coming in to take over.
Yeah, and I think it's that great set of talent coming in, but for want of a better description, the old guard looking at that new talent saying,
right.
Actually, I can pass this knowledge on to them, and I know them, I trust them, I believe in them, help them grow, and then that means that they can then go and retire knowing all the work they've done for the last 20, 30, 40 years, sometimes 50 years, is not going to go undone. And it is that sense of community, the network, and I say to them, if you come to Schroeder, if you come to Tech Uni, if you come to GSE, go and talk to people, build your network.
Yes.
Yeah, be bold and ask for a business card or take your business card, even if you've just written your own on some sheets of paper. Give people your contact details. Do things like LinkedIn, build that network, because when it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you've got a problem and you can think, I know who I can email or know I can message, because they will help me, and they will. Yeah, I mean, one of my favourite stories is Isha Powers from the crypto team. I'd got a real problem with a client, a proper technical problem, and I'm thinking, I need some help. So I just sent Isha an email. I'd met her at Schroeder a few times. I said, I've got this problem. I think this is what we need to do. I'd got one of the youngsters working with me, and we're working our way through it. And he said, we need to clarify that. So I sent Isha an email. She came back within 30 minutes. No, Mark, and David, who was the guy working with it, said, Mark, David, you've got that right. This is what you need to do. And that's what I was trying to explain to the young lad who was with me. Build the network, because they will help. People want to help us. Yeah?
Yes, they
And they
do.
want to help the kids grow and do it.
I couldn't agree with you more around the networking. Even with my own kids, it's the first thing I say, build your network, because you never know who you're going to meet and how they're going to be able to help you. And that's one thing with the mainframe community. It is such an open and welcoming community. They really do want to make sure that you're succeeding and that you're doing well in the job.
No, I couldn't agree more. It's I got introduced to GSE and Schroeder many years ago, and one of the joys is exactly what you say. Coming back to these events and meeting people, you only get to see them once or twice a year, but it is people become your friends. Yeah, they start off. You might watch them do a couple of presentations, and then you socialise a little bit with them, and you see them the second, the third, the fourth time. They become friends. Yeah.
And it's such a selling point for clients. Again, when you're talking about the job and you're trying to recruit people in, some of the other positions that are out there, if you're going for perhaps a distributed type of role and they're extremely competitive, I think that's such an advantage and selling point when you're talking about the mainframe and trying to bring them in, is talking about the way that we'll train and the type of community that you'll have, and how we really do want to push you up and make you succeed, and you'll have all sorts of support in that area.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely is a community, and it's a community that bands well together. Yeah, really well.
As you're bringing all these new people in, how are you retaining them? I always think that's going to be the next question that clients ask, because they're going to be able to find the talent and bring them in. Now, what are some of the keys that you do in order to make sure that they're happy and staying?
I think a lot of it's got to, for us, because of the type of business we are, we can offer a level of variety, because you do project A, then project B. So one might be a system upgrade, one might be a security project, one might be, I need you to write some code. So there's a lot of variety. But even if you're working at an end client, as an employer, make it challenging for them. Make them think about things. Don't make it hard, make it challenging. Okay, here's a problem. Can you solve this problem for me? And they have to go away and do the research. And making them use the brain cells all the time, that kind of gets them going. These are bright, enthusiastic kids. They want to learn. So in 6 years of doing this, bring it all on, we've lost one of our MITers. And he went with my blessing because he was an absolutely superstar Java developer, and he came out to us from university and tried mainframes, but all he wanted to do was write Java code as an application developer. So I said, yeah, that's what you've got to do. But I said, there's always an open door here. So yeah, he may or may not come back, but retaining them it's about making them exciting for them, making them interesting for, and
giving them a challenge.
Give them a challenge, yeah.
But then also giving them work where they feel as if they have value.
Yeah, absolutely. And give them the pat on the back when they do something really well. Yeah, I mean, I say to the team leaders and managers, it's not about telling people what they've done wrong. It's about saying, good job. Yeah, now let me show you how we might be able to help do that a little bit better the next time. Yeah, create that environment where they want to come to work. Yeah,
especially, I think sometimes we forget, because we've been in that for multiple years, but that when they are coming out of college, or even if they didn't, having that sense of feedback, so they do know where they do stand. I hear that very often among the recent hires coming in. Feedback. Yeah,
feedback. Give them feedback. Yeah, all the time. But and involve them in the decision making process when you sit. So we have to go through quite a rigorous process when we're going to start a new project. So there's always the planning phase, and you've got to write the project plan. Well, involve them, start to finish. They, for the first once or twice, they'll be just observing. The second or third time, they'll be contributing. The fourth or fifth time, they'll be doing, because they, as we've said many times, they pick it up really, really quickly.
Exactly. And one of the other things when we're talking to clients is about the opportunities for career growth and advancement. As people are retiring, it does offer opportunities to grow up in those positions quite rapidly if you're showing that enthusiasm.
Yeah, and also there's the opportunity to grow into these things, but also different career paths. You don't have to be a sysadmin all your life. You don't have to be a security person all your life. You can move around, and I'm a great believer in having broad skills and picking a couple of disciplines where you have the depth, but have those broad set of skills, and that's what makes you valuable to your employer, because you can contribute on so many different levels.
And that's why people do stay in the mainframe for so many years, because there are so many areas where you can continue to grow and learn. That once you start, it's not as if you're going to stay in that same job for the next 20, 30, 40 years like you mentioned people are doing. They have been growing, and as the technology changes, they're continually learning, which is fantastic for somebody new coming in and realizing they have so much opportunity.
I mean, when I'm going to give my age away here by saying this. When I started in 1980 as a trainee operator, if you'd have said to me, Mark, 38 years, you'll be still in IT, let alone just in mainframes, I would have said no, and I do not regret any one bit of it. And I try to pass on that enthusiasm to all of the trainees that come in. Doesn't matter at what level they come in at, you pass on that enthusiasm and just explain to them it's a great career. Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky myself to do a lot of travelling, stuff like that. These opportunities are there for them to take. Come into the industry, get that basic training, get some understanding, get some experience. Pretty much the world is your oyster then.
And I do like like you mentioned, getting them back out presenting. That's something that I think helps them and also helps with the retention, so that they're then also starting to pass on that knowledge to others. So even as you're bringing them in, then they become the ones who are also mentoring and teaching those other new folks that are coming.
Yeah, I mean, I've personally, I find presenting one of the best ways to learn something, because you have an idea for a presentation, you write it, but then you've got to do all the research to make sure all the stuff that you're talking about is actually correct, and it's that research that then I've gained the knowledge from doing the presentation. So I know what I want to say, I understand the technology, and that's what I say to them. You write this, I don't want to write it. You write it, it'll be good for you. And we've got a young guy in the office who's destined to go down the security route, and MFA got announced, so I said to him, how do you fancy installing MFA for us? He said, but I don't know anything about it. I said, what a great opportunity. So he's installed it, he's installed it, he's written the documentation, and he's written a presentation for all the team. And he's now, when I get back, he'll present it in a couple of weeks to the team and say, this is what I am going to do to you. I am going to MFA you. So when you log onto the mainframe, you will be using MFA. And he's just blossomed with it. And that's...
And they love it. They
yeah.
love having that opportunity, that being recent into the company and yet owning it, driving it, and being responsible for it.
Yeah. I mean, we've got a young lady in the team, and she came to us a little bit later than some of the others. She went off into the police force, doing forensics in the police force, and she came in, and she was a breath of fresh air, because she literally walked around the GSE conference, around the expo, with an envelope with a name and a CV in it, handing it out to all of the vendors, because she wanted a job in mainframes. She'd been to a local university, got interested, and I spoke to her and said, where do you want to go? She said, well, I'd like to get into the security side of things. I want to do the pen testing and that kind of stuff. Wow. Yeah. Again,
Perfect.
Comes in, training. She's now the team leader. Yeah.
And what short of a time was she able to do that?
3 years, start to finish.
Yeah. Again, how quickly they're able to blossom when you give them the opportunities.
Yeah.
Final words of advice that you would give to clients as they're going out to reassure them that yes, they can go and find that young talent as well?
I think the talent is absolutely out there, but you do have to put some effort in to go and find it, because you, as an employer, I have to sell the business to them, so I have to be upbeat, I have to be positive, because I want them to be upbeat and positive. And when you're interviewing people or meeting people, it's about you transferring some of your energy. It's a great career, and the platform is a solid platform. We know it runs the Western economy, and as an employer, it's just as much incumbent on you to go and get them. They're not just going to turn up at your door and say,
how are they going to know about you?
You've got to get out there. The employers need to come to things like this, meet the career, do the 101, the rookie stuff, do the career days. But for an employer, there's so much opportunity that they can offer to these.
I totally agree. I always say you really have to build your brand for them to hear about. How are they going to know about you unless you get out there? And some of the other advice that we give them is doing the career fair. So going to the schools and universities, making sure they understand you. Another cool thing that we're starting to do more and more of is working with the clients to host a Master the Mainframe meetup, so that you can come in and sponsor it as a company, working with the schools and universities. The students come in, participate in Master the Mainframe, and the ones who complete or finish at the highest, you then offer an opportunity to come in and interview.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that the mainframe because they just went through the Master the Mainframe meetup, and then you're giving them an opportunity to come in as well. So there are so many ways that we can help them to connect with the students that they're looking for.
Agree, absolutely agree.
So there is a future for everybody who is currently on the mainframe, and they can find the skills that they're looking for.
Absolutely, there is a future, and there's enough talent out there for us to go and grab it and train it and look after this platform for the next 30-40 years without any doubt at all.
Well, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today, Mark.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Christy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.